Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk to you about why Ron Paul cannot and will not win this election. Uh, if you look at the media reports, Michelle Bachmann won the primary, or not the primary, but the straw poll in Iowa. Uh, Ron Paul, I think, was within a half a percentage of her, but nonetheless failed to defeat her. And the media used this, and they have reported that Michelle Bachmann, because of this, is a force to be reckoned with. The Iowa straw polls are important because Iowa is one of the first primaries in the Republican Party, and they usually set the tone for the rest of the primary. Furthermore, in Florida, Herman Cain won the straw poll. Once again, the media reported that Herman Cain, because of this, was a force to be reckoned with, and he has risen to the status of a top-tier candidate. Meanwhile, Ron Paul has won the Values Voters poll by a substantial majority. He's won the Ohio straw poll by a substantial majority. But, as the media has told us, straw polls are not important. They were important when Michelle Bachmann won one. They were important when Herman Cain won one of them. But now that Ron Paul has won one of them, they're really not that important. This just shows the media blackout in action. That being said, let's look at history. Ron Paul ran for president in 1988. He failed. Ron Paul ran for president in 2008, and he failed. He lost to the Republican John McCain, who did such a wonderful job defeating Obama in 2008. So it's foolish to believe that Ron Paul can possibly win this primary. And it's even more foolish to believe that he can win in the general election. After all, a poll came out recently that stated that Ron Paul, if he ran against President Obama the day the poll was conducted, that he would only take 41% of the popular vote. 11% went to other candidates, quote unquote, so probably another Republican candidate or a third party member, whereas Barack Obama got 42% of the popular vote. So Ron Paul came within 1% of the popular vote if he had run against Obama. But of course, according to the media, polls mean nothing as long as Ron Paul is in the poll, or as long as he's victorious in the poll, I should say. Now, I just wanted to talk about these countless failures that the media has highlighted for Ron Paul, and I wanted to compare them to another great political figure. This political figure, in 1860, his family was forced out of their home. He had to work to support them. His mother died in 1818. In 1831, he failed in the business sector. In 1832, he ran for state legislature. He lost. In 1832, he also lost his job. He tried to attend law school, but he couldn't get in. He didn't make the cut. In 1833, he borrowed money from a friend to start a business. Within a year, he was bankrupt. He was paying off that debt for the next 17 years of his life. In 1834, he ran for state legislature again. Oh, he won. Things are looking up, right? In 1835, he was engaged to be married. His wife-to-be passed away. He was heartbroken. 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. He was in bed for 6 months. In 1838, he sought to become Speaker of the state legislature in his state. He failed miserably. In 1840, excuse me, he sought to become the elector, and he lost. In 1843, he ran for Congress, and he lost. In 1846, he ran for Congress again. This time he won. He went to Washington and did a good job. 2 years later, after his term expired, he ran for re-election. In 1848, he lost. In 1849, he sought the job of land officer in his home state. He was rejected for the position. In 1854, he ran for Senate of the United States. He lost. In 1856, he sought the vice presidential nomination at his party's national convention. He got less than 100 votes, lost miserably. In 1858, he ran for Senate again. He lost. In 1860, he ran for the highest position in the land, President of the United States. And in 1860, he won. And he led the nation through the Civil War, kept us united. And he became one of our greatest presidents. That guy was a guy named Abraham Lincoln, aka Honest Abe. Now, all these countless failures, but he still won. I want to leave you with a quote by Samuel Adams, a great statesman in our country. It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. Samuel Adams. Do any of these people sound like anybody we know? Maybe a certain congressman whose voting record has been consistent for 20 plus years? A man who's been in Congress for 20 years? A man who's been honest and correct in every prediction he's made? Sounds like Ron Paul, doesn't it? Ron Paul has supporters that are more irate and restless, as Samuel Adams said, than any of the other presidential candidates. Than any presidential candidate that I've lived to see. No supporters are more enthusiastic. And while I'm trying to encourage people, I also want to warn them. A lot of Ron Paul supporters, like myself, are young people. I'm 24 years old. I'm sure there's a lot of other young people. And history has proven time and time again that young people are not the most reliable supporters. Oh, they're on fire and they're enthusiastic, but when it comes time to vote, they don't show up. And I think that right there is the tragedy of Congressman Ron Paul. He has supporters with young people, the people who see the future of this nation for what it is, but those people don't show up to the polls. Those people don't show up when it's time to vote in the primary. Those people won't show up when it comes time to win the general election. So this is an encouragement, but also a challenge to you. There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever that Ron Paul can and will win this primary and the election. But it all depends on those of us who support him. Some of us are independents, some of us are Democrats. I'm a libertarian. We need to switch our party nomination to Republican. We need to actually show up when it's time to vote in the Republican primaries, and we need to support our man, Ron Paul. We are tireless, we are irate, and some people are saying we're a minority, though I don't believe that. But that's all it takes to win. The question is, do you want the future of your nation to rest in the hands of another bureaucrat, another Washington, D.C. insider, or another Federal Reserve banker? Or do you want to see this country turned around? Do you want to see someone who represents the people? Someone who's been honest at all times and consistent? Or do you want to see the status quo win once again? So my encouragement to you is, first of all, don't give up. History has proven that people have failed and fell on their faces countless times, but they've gotten up again, and eventually they win. And if we are restless in our support, not just in making YouTube videos, not just in going to rallies, not even just in talking to our friends about these issues, but in actually showing up at the polls, we can win this thing. The question is, do you want it badly enough? I could go on and on about all the support this man has, but this country needs it more than any other time in history. So I urge you, get out and vote. And don't worry what the media tells you. We can win this, and we will. We just do what we need to do. Thanks for listening.